Test, test. Hi, Amy, can you hear us?
Can you hear me, Melissa?
Yes, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Fantastic. Welcome.
Perfect. Thank you. Sorry I didn't get your message. I actually, since this is a late night for me, I was actually out for a bit this afternoon.
No
but
worries. I just started to panic a little bit.
As far as tonight goes, so I am planning to share my screen. I will walk everyone through accessing the packet, logging into the system, looking at the meeting list, opening up the packet, and how to navigate through the packet. We'll also take a look, since they'll be voting electronically, we'll take a look at what their screen looks like once they logged in and how that voting button works for them. Since you actually will be running the meeting, you will have to open a vote in order for them to see a vote and what the buttons look like on their screen.
Okay, well, I heard probably about half of that, so maybe we could revisit. Maybe just send me a quick email.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, I just sent you an email, Melissa.
Yes.
I just sent you an email.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Test, test. Well. Hi, Amy. We're just missing one council member. We're going to see where they're at and then we can get started if that's okay.
That's fine. Just let me know when you're ready.
You walking in? Walking in. Hi, Thomas.
Check, check, check. All right, now, this is a special thing. You all didn't know this, but Melissa sings. She's not singing today. One of these days, we'll call her up on stage. Clay Walker next year, right? Okay, there we go. All right, I'm going to turn this off so you guys can turn it on later.
Thanks, Tom. Let's go.
All right. All right, Amy, we're ready. Thank you.
All right, you're very welcome. Can everyone hear me? And Melissa, you need to allow me to share my screen.
Okay.
Perfect. All right. And are you able to see the Municode familiar to you now, Melissa's screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, thank you everyone for giving me the opportunity to introduce you to the Municode meetings system. My name is Amy Douglas. I was the project manager who helped to get Melissa set up in the system. And I want to show you what it will look like from your point of view when you're at a meeting, how you can log into the system, how you can access and navigate through your meeting packets, and also how you can use the system to cast votes electronically during the meeting. So Municode Meetings is a cloud-based system. You'll always access it on your computer at the laptop that you have at your station. You will open Google Chrome as the web browser, and The page that you're looking for is meetings.municode.com. And hopefully those are bookmarked there on your laptops so you can get there easily. This is what the login page looks like. And since you all are using Microsoft Single Sign-In, once you've opened up your laptop and you've signed into Microsoft, you can simply come to Municode Meetings and click the Sign In with Microsoft button. That will recognize your Microsoft email address and password and will automatically log you into the Clearlake Municode platform. So if you click Single Sign-In, the system will immediately take you to your inbox. This is what your view will look like of the Municode meeting system.
Can we go
Amy,
back?
could we give them just a moment to follow along with you?
Absolutely.
Going beyond what's on there. I'm logged in. Everybody logged in? Oh.
Let me know if everyone gets logged in or if anyone is not able to access the system.
You have one slow guy.
That's okay.
Two? Password isn't working.
Okay, let me.
Okay. I was doing a zero actually. Yeah. It's the light. Okay, I'm in.
We're ready.
All right, perfect. All right. So you can see every time you log in to Municode Meetings, you'll be taken right here to your inbox. The inbox is not going to contain any tasks for you. This is more for people who are adding items and working with agendas. But the 3 buttons and areas of the system that you will be using are the log out button once you're done at the end of the evening. This circle in the top corner is your log out button. So you press that and that will log you out of the system. Once you've logged into the system, the first thing that you're going to do is to open your meeting list so that you can access your meeting packet. In the gray column on the left-hand side of your screen, the top button will take you to your meeting list. If you click that, you will see a view of meetings that are currently scheduled inside the Municode meeting system. This date range is set up to show you meetings that happen within 60 days before and 60 days after the current date that you're logged into the system. So you can see there are meetings scheduled out all the way through November 9th. To find the meeting that you're looking for, you can scroll down the list. And if I want to open tonight's meeting for this 9/16 City Council meeting at 6 p.m., I can open my meeting packet by clicking on the red Adobe icon in the center of this meeting's listing. When I click on the red Adobe icon, Chrome is going to open up a copy of your meeting packet. So you can see Chrome is thinking, depending on how large your packet is on any given day, it might take a couple of minutes longer to open. But you can see my progress bar here, and Chrome is opening up the packet for me. Now, by default, Chrome is going to show your the first page of your packet, which is the agenda, in the center of your screen. And on the left-hand side, you should have a bookmark bar. If you don't see the bookmark bar, if you just have the agenda in the middle of your page, then if you click on these 3 horizontal lines in the top left-hand corner, that should display this bookmark bar, which is this column that has the page images on it. By default, if you're using your bookmark bar, Google Chrome is going to show you pictures of each individual page of the packet. You can change this view to look at the names of all of the attachments. If you click on the icon down at the bottom of the 3 icon column, that looks kind of like a list. If you click on that, it will show you the names of each item that has attachments. And if you click on the caret to open the item attachment list, you'll see the names of each individual attachment that pertains to each one of these agenda items. What the bookmark bar allows you to do is really quickly get to a specific attachment or supporting document that goes with an item. You can also simply scroll through the agenda and look at each section and each item in turn. So if I scroll through my agenda, I'll see that the first item for the workshop is me presenting on Municode meetings. And as you get down into the meeting itself, there seems to be an attachment that goes along with the presentation of the proclamation declaring Native American Day. I know that there's an attachment for this item because the item number has turned into a hyperlink. It's a blue and it's underlined, whereas the numbers 2 and 3, there are no attachments for those particular items because there's no hyperlink on that number. If I want to see the attachment for this Native American Day proclamation, I can just click on that blue hyperlink and it will take me directly to the page that contains the proclamation.
Could ask you to go back a minute. I cannot get you where you have your arrow now. I cannot get to that portion. I just have the pages of the packet on the left. And Melissa's going to come and help me.
Okay. Oh, I see why. Okay.
If there's a horizontal scroll on the bottom of the page, that might be an issue.
Okay, so this is where you click on just the agenda. And then this is where you click on the entire packet.
I thought I clicked on. That's the one I want to click on. And read it on the red.
There we go.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'm sure this is the packet. Go.
That wasn't there before.
Yep, because that was just the agenda. This is.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Can you see your packet now?
Yes, he can. see
Okay.
it.
Okay, perfect. So as you scroll through the packet document, it is a large PDF that contains the agenda as the first document, and then all of the supporting documents that are attached are filed in order as you go through that PDF. So if we scroll through, we can see numbers that don't have a hyperlink means there's no attachment for that particular item. As we get down to number 4, if we click on the number 4, we know that has an attachment, and the blue hyperlink that says number 4 will take me directly to the attachment that pertains to that particular item. In the top right corner of each page, you'll see the section and item number that this particular attachment pertains to. So I know just looking at this page that if I lost track, I can go back to my agenda and look at section F, item 4, and that's the number that this attachment is applicable to. Each page of the agenda will show, each page of the attachments will show the item that the attachment pertains to. If I want to go back to my agenda listing,
Amy,
I
I think you have
can-
a question from from our.
yes, absolutely.
How do you get back to the agenda?
That's what I was going to say just now. Great question. To get back to my agenda, I'm going to use my bookmark bar and click on the word top at the top of the bookmark bar, and that will take me right back to my agenda. And I can begin scrolling through again.
Or I guess you could use the arrow at on the right side and.
Yes,
scroll
you can also use your scroll bar and just move the box all the way up to the top of the scroll bar. That will take you to your agenda as well. Okay. So each time you want to look at an item, you can scroll through the agenda and click on the number hyperlink for that item. You'll see here that section H, item 8, has more than one attachment that goes with it. There are 3 check registers attached to that particular item. So if I click on the number 8, it will take me to the first one of those check registers. However, if I want to say go straight down to check register 3, I can use my bookmark bar again and click on the listing for check register 3, and it will take me directly to that particular page. And then I could get back to the first check register listing by just clicking back in the bookmark bar where it says section H, item 8, and the name of the item. When I click that, it will take me back to the first attachment for that item. And once again, to go back to my agenda, I can either click top on my bookmark bar, or if I'm down here, I can use the scroll bar to move all the way up to the top of the screen and navigate through my packet in this manner. You can also scroll through and follow along with the packet. Everything is in order according to when the items come up on the agenda. So you can scroll through the entire document 1 page at a time if that is something that you feel is helpful. So any questions about the packet or how to navigate through using either a scroll through or using the bookmark bar? Perfect. So I know this is a new process, but we try to make it fairly user-friendly. So if you run into any issues, please be sure to let us know. and we'll make sure that everything is working as it's supposed to. Now, if you're going to be using your electronic votes as the meeting is going on, you can have this tab open on your browser and scroll through the agenda until you get to an item where a vote will be called for. If you get to an item where a vote will be called for and you want to use your electronic voting, when the vote is called, you'll just click back into the Municode Meetings tab on your browser. And once Melissa has opened a vote, you can click on the second button down on your left-hand menu, which will take you to the voting page.
Back up.
Wait,
Yes.
Back up to the,
Mhm.
yeah.
I think we were.
Which one are you using as an example?
We haven't actually gotten to opening a vote yet.
Word?
I am just looking at the agenda, and Melissa will have to tell me which vote she's going to open so that I can tell you which one to go to.
How do you get back to the?
You should have tabs at the top of your browser page. And the tab that you have active right now that shows the packet will say City Council Regular Meeting Packet at the top. And you're going to click over to the tab that says Meetings, Clearlake, California at the top. That takes you back into the Municode Meetings page.
Okay,
Got that.
Amy, for
Yes,
example, I can open the consent agenda. Vote.
absolutely.
Okay,
Sure.
so I'll go ahead and open that voting for consent.
All right, perfect. So as you get to the consent agenda, which is your section H, if you're going to vote on all of these items and none of them have been removed from the consent agenda, so you're going to take one vote to approve the entire consent agenda, then Melissa will let you know that she's opening the vote. At the time that she opens the vote, you will click back into the tab that says Meetings, Clearlake, California at the top to go back into Municode Meetings. And you need to be on the second button down, which says Voting. And if you click your refresh button, once Melissa has opened the vote,
Don't see.
I opened it.
Oh, I wonder if that's the right.
Which one's the,
Right, yeah.
you open that up, Melissa, or does it?
I did. I opened it up. David's able to see it, so
Now you
let me
push
come.
refresh and it comes back. comes up.
I don't know what.
oh, no, I know exactly why I'm not seeing it. Hold on 1 second. So. Settings. The reason that I'm not seeing it is that I am not an authorized voter for the city council.
Yeah, I can vote.
Okay,
Just push refresh.
yep,
Where's
let's
reverse?
come here.
Well, I guess you can't vote on that item. Can't vote on that item.
Right. Okay. And let me,
Here are they. I've just hit back. So
Oh. Then when you refresh-
me,
Or planning and council. That's only $5 for us. I'll pitch it.
Laptops for planning and laptops.
I could still go clear to the top here and get
yeah,
to that.
Well, maybe that, but normally I don't,
I can see it, but I can't vote.
this is,
The vote button is that click, is this check on.
It says refresh, but it doesn't.
No refresh.
Voting is not open. We can't vote on this item.
Hit refresh, what would happen?
Robert, I went
we'll
out
have
of
a button.
it. Okay.
no, there is a problem with the voting right now is not working the way it is supposed to. So let's
It's not us.
enable direct voting.
It's moved. You're right, Ryan. It's
Reversed it there. Let's look at security tabs.
Once I got past the whole login thing, I'm good.
Yeah.
Is it a 0? Is it an O? Is it a L? Is it a 1?
Hmm. Okay. All right, let's go back to, you've got the 9:16 meeting, Melissa?
Yes,
Okay. And you did open the vote.
yes, for consent, yes.
Okay. This is a technical issue and I am not quite sure why.
Council members is able to see it, so I know. Oh, he refreshed it and now he's not able to.
Can you go back to the in meeting and just make sure that the voting didn't close?
Yes,
Close it and reopen it, please.
Hey, everyone.
Sounds like it's going well in here.
okay, now try it.
No
Yeah,
problem.
you haven't been listening very long.
All right. Unfortunately, my tech support is in Eastern time. So I'm not sure that I can get someone on, but hold on one second and let me
Yes,
Well,
send a text.
yeah, it's not a problem. Not a problem.
Melissa can count to 5. She's good.
All right. So what you should see is the text of your item at the top. Once voting is open and you refresh this page, you should see the text of the item at the top. And then buttons, the refresh button changes to buttons for yay, nay, and abstain. And then a button below that says submit. I do possibly have
I
someone.
have a couple of
I got
council
that.
members who have it.
Okay.
You have to
Everybody
refresh.
refresh.
Hey, I got it too.
All right,
Let's vote on something.
Oh, I did.
all right, so
Ben too?
sounds like
Did get it.
everybody
Rest of
got it.
us are in?
Okay, perfect. All right. It may be my settings because I'm not actually an authorized voter for your city. So so it's not liking my account as a voting member of the council. But yes, so you'll press the yay, nay, or abstain and then click submit. And then once Melissa closes the vote, she can either display it on the screen if she's using a display screen, or she can read the results of the vote or report the results of the vote from her screen, because she will be able to close the vote and then see how everyone cast their votes using the electronic buttons. All right. Any questions? I apologize for that technical difficulty there.
I think we can figure it out.
Okay, perfect. All right. So those are really the only things that you need to do in the system. You can use the meeting list to find a meeting event. If you want to narrow down the list so that you're not seeing quite so many meetings in a row, you can change the date range of what's displaying. If I only want to see meetings for the month of September, I can click here and choose to see meetings from September 1st through September 30th by clicking on those days on the calendar. And when I click my search button, the page will refresh and it will only show me meetings that happen during the time span that I specified. So if I only want to see the meetings for September, I can see there are 3 meetings in September. We have our 2 city council meetings, a marketing committee regular meeting, and a planning commission meeting. And for any meeting that has a packet and agenda created, I can click on the icon for that document and it will open up that document. The agenda and packet for the planning commission meeting on the 28th, I can see haven't been created yet because those icons are grayed out, so they're not ready for me to access.
Okay, it's time to.
Okay. Any questions about the system, how you interact with the system, or how you will be working with it in the future?
We'll struggle through
Got
it.
this, Robert?
If you have questions, Melissa is already an expert and I'm always available to help as well. You can funnel questions through her. She might be able to solve your problems herself. And if she can't, then she can get in touch with me and I will do my best to make sure that everything works properly for you.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. I hope that you all have a wonderful evening. Melissa, if there's anything that you need, feel free to send me an email or give me a call and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much, Amy.
Thank you. Have a good evening, everyone. Bye-bye.
Except All right. Open the city council regular meetings, Clearlake City Hall Council Chamber at 14050 Olympic Drive, Clearlake, California. I just want to advise everybody, all items on the agenda will be open for public comment before final action is taken. Citizen wishing to introduce written material into the record at the public meeting on any item are requested to provide a copy of the written material to the Administrative Service Director / City Clerk prior to the meeting date, so the material may be distributed to the City Council prior to the meeting. Speakers must resist comment to the items as it appears on the agenda and stay within 3-minute time limit. The mayor has the discretion of limiting the total discussion time for an item. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Overton. Councilmember Kramer.
Here.
Councilmember Claffey.
Here.
Vice Mayor Purdock.
Here.
Mayor Slutin.
Here. All right. We'll invite you to lead. Councilmember Claffey, would you lead us, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Also, Vice Mayor Purdock, could you do a small invocation?
Yes, sir. Father in heaven, we call on you tonight to join with us this day to help inspire and lead us with your spirit that we may do good work for this city. We ask that you would bless and look over those who have been impacted so recently by fire and are trying to find stability in their life. And we ask that you would comfort them with your love and care. Father, we ask that you would join with us in making good decisions tonight. Lead us and guide us to help those who are coming to present tonight to have clarity of thought and a good intention for the betterment of this city. We ask for all these things and give you the glory through your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. All right. City Manager Flora, are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I lost my place here. The item number 3, unfortunately, due to some scheduling conflicts, is going to have to be postponed. And it looks like we'll have that at the next regular city council meeting.
All right, very good. So the first item, presentation is the presentation of September adoptable dogs.
Now we
have
need to
Charmaine.
approve
We
it.
adopt the budget or adopt the agenda? Well, can I have a motion to adopt the agenda? Yes.
Make a second.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Overton and a second by Vice Mayor Purdock. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we'll go to presentations. I look like Charmaine is ready.
There you go, Russell.
This is Tanisha, the 2-year-old shepherd mix. She's a little shy. But a good girl. She's super loyal and bonds quickly to those she trusts. Pretty quiet.
speak
I
in
know
the
I'm supposed to
mic.
be in the mic. Pretty quiet. She's spayed, up to date on vaccinations, microchipped. Pretty neutral with cats. Doesn't seem to mind them, but I don't think she really enjoys them, but she, doesn't react. And she's good with other calm dogs, male or female. A quiet household probably would be best for her. She likes to run around, likes to be outside, but also likes to be inside. If anyone's interested or wants more information, give us a call, 273-9440,
What times are you open then?
Tuesday through Saturday, noon to 4, or by appointment.
All right.
Thank you,
Thank
Sherman.
you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Sherman.
Sherman.
Beautiful pet.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it seems pretty calm.
A lot better than one you brought in a while back.
Yeah, only because of the person.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. So a quick update on the animal control statistics for the year. Last couple of months, we have gone up quite a lot of animals. I think since the last presentation, we went up almost 100. So we've taken 283 dogs into the shelter so far this year. 276 have left the shelter. 165 have gone to rescues, about 58%. 76 have gone back to their owners, 26%. 28 have been adopted, almost 10%. 6 have been euthanized, 2.2%, and then the one escaped, 0.3%. So our overall live release rate for the year is 97.8%. So
Very good.
we're going up a little bit still, and a lot of dogs are coming in. We're getting a lot more in, but we're getting them out to rescues and places. So it's looking good so far.
I'm always amazed how many people you get to adopt these dogs. And be able
Lieutenant,
to, send them. That's awesome.
is there any particular reason why you think the numbers are going up?
Yeah. I mean, we got a decent amount in from the cash fire, but just a lot of other ones where people have puppies. They're at, Walmart and places like that, can't care for them. There've been some at some of the homeless camps where people can't care for the animals and they weren't in the best shape. So other than a couple of those things, nothing, no major thing, no change, just more that we're coming across where people are showing up there with that are, with people that can't care for them properly.
Yeah, okay. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, this is time for public comment. This is a time for any member of the public to address.
We got
Oh, proclamation.
at number 4.
Yeah, that's my job. Forgot. The police department is not there. I have a proclamation for declaring September 24th as Native American Day. Whereas, as the first Native American have helped shape the future of the United States through every turn of our history. Whereas the contributions of the Native Americans have enhanced the freedom, prosperity, and the greatness of America today. Whereas their customs and traditions are respected and celebrated as part of a rich legacy throughout the United States, California, and Lake County. Whereas Native American Day began in 1968 and recognition was expanded by Governor Brown in September of 2014, designating the 4th Friday of every September Native American Day. And whereas in honor of Native American Day, communities celebrations, as well as numerous cultural, artistic, educational, and historical activities take place. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the city of Clearlake does hereby designate September 24th, 2021 as Native American Day and urge all our citizens to recognize the contributions of Native American people and the rich history of Native American people in California, dated the 16th of September 2021 and signed by me, Mayor of Clearlake. We don't have anybody to take these at this point. Yeah, so we'll move on.
We should check. There were a couple people that said they might join us via Zoom. So is there anyone on Zoom that wishes to speak to the Native American Proclamation Day? I guess not, Mr. Mayor.
All right, we'll go to,
Oh, wait.
We do have a hand raised.
there's somebody on Zoom. Okay, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Christina Lord. I'm from Middletown Rancheria. I sit on the tribal council as treasurer. And I just want to say thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Any other ones, Madam Clerk?
No further hands are raised on the Zoom.
All right, we'll go to public comment. This is the time for any member of the public to address the city council on any matter not on the agenda, that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city. The Brown Act, with limited exceptions, does not allow the council or staff to discuss issues brought before under public comment. The council cannot take action on non-agenda items. Concerns may be referred to staff or placed on the next available agenda. Please note that comments from the public will also be taken on each agenda item, and comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per person. Do we have any public comment at City Hall at this point? Doesn't appear to be. Do we have any comment on Zoom, Madam Clerk?
We have one hand raised on the Zoom. Go ahead, Cheryl Allman.
Yes, I want to thank the council for the opportunity to speak. I'm speaking on behalf of Lake County Continuum of Care. We are putting out a survey that will be available to everybody within the county to take. We are updating our strategic plan and would like input from the county. I will make sure I get a copy or a link of that to Melissa so that she can put it out. It will be due back in October, so we have some additional time, but look for it. It will be with the chambers and other people as well through me, but I think it's your opportunity to share what you think. You certainly can pass it out to anybody you think would be interested. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Any additional public comment, Madam Clerk?
There are no further hands raised on the Zoom.
All right, we'll go to item number H, the consent agenda. Do we have any changes to that? Any comments from council here? Want to pull anything? If not, any other public wants to pull one of the consent item agendas? If not, I'll bring it back to council.
Mayor,
Go ahead.
Mayor Slotin, I'd like to move that the consent agenda be accepted as presented.
All right, we have a motion by Kramer. We have a second by Councilwoman Overton. Oh, correction, seconded by Councilman Claffey. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we'll go to public hearing. Item 11. Consideration of appeal application. Oh, went too far here. Consideration of appeal application AP 2021-03 in regards to the Planning Commission denial of a company application AP 2021-02 following the director's determination of administrative use permit application AUP 2021-07, authorizing a drive-through walk-up coffee shop with limited outdoor seating located at 14760 Olympic Drive. Mr. Flora, are you
Yes.
addressing this item?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll give a brief introduction to the item. So the council may recall in February, the council approved a lease agreement with Mudslingers Coffee for development of a small drive-through and walk-up coffee shop on property that we purchased in December near Burns Valley Mall. So according to the zoning ordinance, this project required application of administrative use permit. So that application was made and an administrative hearing before me acting as the community development director was held on July 27th. We reviewed the project, the use permit conditions and so forth, and I approved the application at that time. Sisters Coffee, a nearby established coffee business in Burns Valley Mall, appealed that determination to the Planning Commission. And on August 24th, the Planning Commission held a hearing to review that application. The Planning Commission made a decision to deny the appeal, upholding the decision at the administrative hearing. And so then subsequently, Sisters Coffee filed an appeal of the Planning Commission decision for the council. So hopefully you've had a chance to review the packet. There's the background from the appeal. There's the rebuttal information from Mudslingers. But with that, I don't know, recommendation is maybe just to hear from both sides if you don't have any questions at this point, and then I'm sure we'll get into some of the details as we go along.
Please come up to the. We have 3 minutes to come up to the microphone here and make your comments. Please proceed.
It's up to you, Mr. Mayor, but I would recommend maybe hearing from the appellant first, sisters, and then from mudslingers, and then letting the general public make their
Okay,
comments.
please, from sisters, please make your statement. Okay. Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Please state your name, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Diane Drake, and I am speaking on behalf of me and my sister Erin, the owners of Sisters Coffee House. We are here once again to urge you to vote to deny the use permit that was granted to Mudslingers Drive-Through and Walk-Up Coffee Shop set to be built at 14760 Olympic Drive. I also speak on behalf of a large portion of Clearlake residents and business owners, both present and future. Just because you can do something, does it really mean that you should? We understand Clearlake is an equal opportunity city, meaning you don't discriminate against businesses wanting to open in your city. Meaning out of the 18 non-fast food restaurants in town, 9 of them are Mexican food. From thrift stores to gas stations to auto part stores and now coffee shops, it seems we lack creativity and diversity when agreeing to allow businesses to open, not taking into consideration the long-term effects that opening the same thing over and over will have on the economy of our town and the success of existing business owners. Our position has been very clear and consistent throughout this whole process. We have nothing against Mudslingers as a company or Lisa and Shanna as people and potential business owners. And it's unfortunate that they have taken this as a personal attack against them in their dream. Our issue is with the location they've chosen to try to open their coffee shop. And we ask that they find a location that wouldn't be detrimental to any business, including their own. As you can see, we haven't turned in any more petitions. As soon as Lisa put out hers, we've made the decision not to fuel this type of back and forth because that's not what my sister and I are about, and that's not why we're here today. We just want to run a successful business and do what's right for our customers and our family. Again, it has nothing to do with them. The truth is that if Mudslingers was approved and then Pascal came in trying to open Marcel's, we'd be here talking about Marcel's instead of Mudslingers. It's not about having no competition. If it were, we would have appealed Starbucks and Marcel's. It doesn't matter what the name of the coffee shop is or who the potential owners will be. Putting a third coffee shop on Olympic Drive is excessive. It's not conducive to a healthy economy and will ultimately lead to one or more of our businesses to fail. Of course, we don't want to be the ones that fail, right? But it's more than that. We don't want to see the city of Clearlake entertain another potential failed business, whether it's Mudslingers, Marcel's, or Sisters. As a business owner and resident of this community, I look forward to and supporting any business trying to make it, especially during these tough times. It's difficult to stay successful, even if you're really good at what you do, even if you're the only one in town. It gets rather discouraging to see a new business open, do great for the first few months, and then have to shut their doors because they can't make it here. Whether it's location, price, service, or whatever the case may be, people are very critical and will often only give you one chance. My thoughts are, why would anyone want to put in so much competition at one time that they could push out a successful business? While we may not go out of business right away, the first few months or year it would take people to try the other guys and then come back to us would be devastating for us. With all the improvements being made in Clearlake as part of the multi-use zone or the MUX, we want to be part of the advancement of our community. We want to remain a vital part of maintaining and building this economy. And I was actually given a copy of the zoning regulations for the 2020 MUX. I know we have these zoning regulations for a reason, but I believe they're up for a certain amount of interpretation. For example, outlined on point A on page 25, it says one of the purposes of the MUX is to encourage mixed-use projects that combine residential and non-residential uses in the same building or building site area as means to create an active street life, enhance the vitality of businesses, and reduce the need for automobile travel. Now, if we break that down a little bit, Mixed use projects is not really mixed use if we're constantly allowing the same thing over and over. Second, creating an active street life. It doesn't really, I'm not really sure how Mudslingers limited outdoor seating is creating an active street life, unless that means walking over and enjoying a cup of coffee next to the drive-through. That also really falls under reducing the need for automobile travel because they are primarily a drive-through, and by nature, their customers would either have to drive over and park in the parking lot to enjoy their beverage sitting in their car, or like I said, outside next to the drive-through. Most likely, they will drive up, get their beverage and leave, since that's typical drive-through behavior. I'd also like to address the traffic turning from Olympic Drive to get to the Mudslingers drive-through in the first place. Is Olympic going to be widened to accommodate the vehicles constantly waiting to turn in and out? Since the exit will be really close to the fire department. The Burns Valley Mall has 4 points of access. 2 of those are on Olympic Drive, and depending on the time of day, you could sit there for a while and be backed up by 4 or more cars. If you've ever been there when school is getting out and you try to turn in by the Dollar Tree, you know what I'm talking about. And I kind of would think that putting a drive-through or somewhere with block traffic in front of a fire station in a fire-prone county such as ours would be out of the question. Point B on page 25 says to provide a meaningful blend of residential and non-residential uses that enhance and build upon the city's commercial base. Not sure how allowing Sisters, Marcel's, and Mudslingers to operate within 0.3 miles of each other is a meaningful blend or building upon the commercial base. It's more like survival of the fittest. Healthy competition is one thing, but allowing 2 drive-through shops on either side of us isn't blending anything. It's cutting 1 or more of us off at the knees. Most likely our businesses, we can't offer a drive-through based on our location in the mall, though we've tried to rectify that by signing up with DoorDash, and we offer delivery around the lake through them. It also doesn't add to the commercial base, it divides the commercial base, the customers, and the tax revenue for the city. Imagine adding businesses that are compatible with each other instead of taking from one another, because that's what will happen. It will divide the customers and their money instead of adding to it. Let's enhance the experience of customers and create new customers rather than divide them. Eventually, 1 or more of our coffee shops will have to close, adding to the already staggering amount of empty storefronts we have in this town. It just doesn't make sense to plan for that kind of future. Now we come to point F on page 25 of the MUX 2020 regulations that says to ensure compatibility of mixed-use projects with surrounding uses and development patterns. Putting Mudslingers on one side of us while Marcel's is on the other will negatively impact my business. And as far as I'm concerned, just like anybody that wants to stay in business, compatibility with my neighbors is important to me and my customers. As I've said before, people want more places they can spend their money, not just different ones of the same thing. Putting in a new business, or in this case, 2 new businesses, without considering the long-term effects on surrounding businesses goes against the very regulations written to protect and help businesses like mine, and I believe it goes against the intent of the MUX. We as citizens should be going after businesses and products that are new, different, and not already represented here in Clearlake. Create more customers instead of dividing existing ones. No offense, but Mudslingers or any other coffee chain isn't going to get a larger number of people out of their house and down to the Burns Valley area to buy that much more coffee. This isn't just about us, and we urge you to really consider and vote for the long-term success of all businesses in this town, Mudslingers included. Putting 3 coffee shops so close together isn't efficient in this market. If you look on social media, people often ask, what businesses would you like to see in Clearlake? And almost everyone says something new. No more Mexican food places, no more thrift stores. We want Italian food. We want something for the kids. There are literally hundreds of different types of businesses that aren't represented here if only we sought them out instead of accepting the first offer to be thrown on the table. I know it's hard work to get somebody to take a chance on you. After all, that's why we are here, right? I stand before you fighting not only for my business, but on behalf of the residents of this town that want to see their favorite businesses stay, grow, and be successful. The business owners and residents that want to see something new that doesn't threaten or undermine surrounding businesses. Places that add value, diversity, and more money for our community. I fight for a future that doesn't cost anyone their dream, but it adds to it. A place we can all coexist and work together without worrying that the latest decision made within these walls is going to threaten my livelihood or the livelihood of my friends and loved ones. I really think this bears repeating. We have nothing against Mudslingers or Lisa and Shanna. It's the location. Allowing a coffee shop to be built at 14760 Olympic Drive will be detrimental to our business and keeps us, Marcel's, and Mudslingers from operating at our true potential, limiting the revenue for the city and limiting us as successful small business owners. As I said in my first statement, to my first appeal statement. We would like to see the city council uplift existing businesses that have worked hard to stay open, that have helped carry the city and its residents through these troubling times, and help us all prepare for a prosperous future by diversifying the opportunities set forth on the blank slate that is laid out in the MUX. Thank you.
Thank you. That was a very concise presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll have some rebuttal here from mudslingers, I presume.
Hello, I'm Lisa Reynolds. I'm Shanna Parker. We represent Mudslingers. We first want to clarify a few things that we fully intend on using local distributors. One should not assume we would not support our locals being local members of this community ourselves for over 45 years. We're not a franchise. We're not a chain. We're a privately owned business that we fully take on ourselves. We bear the cost if ever we fail. There are similar businesses in very close proximity of one another in this community in many locations within the city. Examples such as auto parts stores, food franchises, Mexican food restaurants, thrift shops, etc. If the city can allow these businesses to thrive next to one another, then why should we be denied our dream of opening our own coffee shop in said location? We searched long and hard to find a location to no avail until this. We shouldn't be subject to have to continue to search when after a multitude of locations did not work out. Statistics prove that competition is in fact healthy for small businesses. How can you ensure the path chosen for a small business is not only good for it, but also something that people need? One simple answer to this is competition. For a small business, the competition does not have to be a death knell. In fact, it is one of the major causes why a small business survives in the first place. With the right amount of competition, focus, strategy, perspective, and innovation, competition plays a significant role in the amount of any small business. When you enter a grocery store, do you see everything in the same brand from the same company? No, you have choices. You see competition throughout the store with several different brands, types, costs, including many different coffees to choose from off the shelf. We want to provide that to our community. And when you have competition in an industry, the ultimate winners will always be your customers. We don't want to bring something different. Our dream is to own our own coffee shop. Want nothing more than to be cohesive together in our community with sisters. And at the end of the day, our position is to supply an upstanding business, choice, and employment to our community. This community is growing and will continue to grow. The more business we have that work together with their community to make this successful place to live and thrive seems like a win. We don't want to do this on our own. We want help from our community. We want them to be involved in our business. There is no I in team. And when you include your community, that is saying that it's a team effort here. And we want nothing more than to support our community. I've been here forever. My family settled here in 1854. We're in the museum. I have supported this community my entire life. My whole family has. So we want nothing more than to work as a team with our community. And we ask for their help. We ask for your help to approve our shop and allow us to continue and thrive, just as Sisters was allowed, just as Marcel's can be allowed. Like I said, it's about competition. That's what makes a small business thrive.
Thank you.
You're
Appreciate your comment. All right, time for the public to make their comments. Nobody wants to make a comment? We'll ask. Looks like we have Mr. Hughes, I believe. He seemed tentatively, but he is coming forward.
Okay, if I don't have. Dave Hughes, I live in Clearlake. Just a couple of things. I found out tonight who actually some of the applicants are with mudslingers, and I know them, and I didn't know I knew them, and that makes this a little tougher. But I just had a couple of things I wanted to bring up. One being in the ordinance under drive-through facilities, it specifically mentions that a driveway should not be within 100 feet of an intersection. Now, there are cases where the city engineer can change that. But if you look at the site plan for mudslingers, there's no 100 feet between the intersection and the driveway. I also notice it's kind of a long, narrow parcel, and it looks to me like you're going to have 45-degree parking and a driveway. And if someone's in the driveway, or if there's a number of cars in the driveway and someone wants to get out of a parking space, or someone wants to get out of the driveway, I don't think they're going to be able to do it based on what I see. So again, it's not that big an issue, but I think it's relevant that the 100 feet, especially where you've got the fire department across the street and the shopping center next door. I think Diane pointed out, you know, we don't just look at the zoning, we look at the purpose of the zoning. And I think what she tried to point out is there are certain purposes along with the zoning. So yeah, the zoning allows a coffee shop and it allows a drive-through. But if you look at the purpose of the zone, and I think she pointed out 3 instances, I think they have to be considered too. In other words, don't just throw it anywhere. It should be justified. The last thing my understanding in previous hearings is that the applicant or the mudslingers people looked at numerous sites. In fact, I think I heard something like 30 or 40 sites in town. And I'm curious, if they looked at a lot of sites in town, what was the problem with those sites? Was it the location? Was it the cost? Were they going to have to pay more than they could afford to pay? Was it a combination of those? And the fact that the Mudslingers is going on city-owned property, is it a fair market deal? And I don't know. I didn't know what month the city council, I guess, heard about leasing the property. I'm assuming the city's probably going to put in the street and put in the curb gutter and sidewalk. I have no idea. But I would like to think that if the city is going to allow it, they're allowing it at a fair market price and not competing with the private property owners and giving a better deal than the private property owner could give, just to see something built that'll generate jobs, traffic, or jobs in sales tax. So I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. Any additional comments here? If not, we'll go to Zoom. Do we have any comments on Zoom, Madam Clerk?
There are 2 hands raised on Zoom, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
The first one is April.
Go ahead, April. Identify yourself, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. So, hey guys, I'm April Sides. I'm with the corporate office of Mudslingers, and I say corporate office, and Shana and Lisa explain to you that we're not a franchise. We do consulting and people have the right to use our brand. So 70% of the items that they're going to be using will be local. Just a couple of things I wanted to address with Sisters Coffee, some of the things that she brought up, and you're right, she did a great job. I get it. People get to speak. The hard part is I feel like I don't know where you draw the line to what can and cannot go. And I understand the city's position. I mean, you can't add businesses that are not soliciting the city. I mean, you can't add something that people don't want to come in and open. So, you know, being able to open a new business there and essentially do the type of business you want based on code is really what it's all about, right? As far as Marcel's or having coffee shops on both sides of you, my point is too, and I don't want to sound like a jerk, but why wouldn't you just boycott Marcel's and ask them to close? I mean, where does it end to where you get to control what people get to open and what kind of business they get to have? And that's what gets kind of frustrating for me. Although I can totally empathize with those guys. I mean, I get it. We've got lots of locations in small towns where large stores have come in, where Starbucks have come in and have worried our store owners, and they've continued to thrive because it's not about, when we go into a market, for us, it's not about looking to see who we can put out of business to be successful. We're looking at statistics that one in every, for a population of 15,000, there's typically a coffee shop, one for every 2,000 people. So that's like 7 shops that could be in Clearlake. It wasn't like we just, willy-nilly said we wanted this spot and we hope that Sisters Coffee goes. It's a great location. There's a great parks behind it. There was no weird underhanded deal with the city as far as pricing, but I can appreciate people asking that. But we're really excited to be a part of the community and to be able to obviously provide some of the things that Sisters Coffee doesn't. I mean, we do have a drive-through service, and I don't know that if you were to put any other shop in there that had a drive-through, would anyone else be concerned? Or are they just bringing up the drive-through portion of it because they would prefer that the coffee shop not go there? So that's kind of frustrating too. But I think that with any business, like I said in my rebuttal, competition is healthy. We weren't looking to go into a market to put someone out of business and hoping that we survive. We have a 95% success rate with our shops, and it's not because we're looking to see who we can put out of business. And once again, I just want to reiterate too, because they brought it up a few times, that they're hoping for other different kinds of stores to come into town. And I'm in a town now where I keep saying there should be like an arcade or a rolling rink or something for kids, but there's nothing here, and there isn't a way to really solicit people to come in and put that in. I wish I had $1 million because I would do it for the kids, but I hope that they can appreciate that it's hard for a city. They have to go by the ordinance, and they just can't say, well, I hope that we're going to save this spot forever, hoping that this becomes a burger joint. So I hope that makes sense. I just sort of wanted to put my 2 cents out there and hope that we can move forward with this. So thanks, you guys.
Thank you, April.
Yep.
Anybody else, Madam Clerk?
Yes, one moment. We have Cheryl Allman.
Thank you for allowing me to speak again. First, I wanted to just thank Two Sisters for being there and being flexible during COVID-19. They've stayed with us during a downturn in our economy. I guess my concern was back to the statement that was made just before, that 2,000 residents define 7 coffee shops. We have a lot of coffee shops, so I do understand Two Sisters' concern there. But I'm cautious, and I encourage you to think about what we are getting. I appreciate that when you cluster certain kinds of businesses, that you get people coming in for those businesses. And we in Clearlake want to encourage people off of the highway and down into downtown. So I'm mixed, but I want to just express those few things for thought. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional comments from the public here? If not, we close.
There's one more hand raised in Zoom, Mr. Mayor. One moment.
Typically, the Right.
All right, there's one more hand raised in the Zoom. Lori? Go ahead and unmute.
Okay, I'm here.
Go ahead, Lori.
Hi, my name is Lori. I have had a small business in Clearlake for 14 years. It happens to be a grooming business. And I would say that when I opened my business, there were 2 other groomers right down the street. We are all in with a half a mile to a mile from each other, but Clearlake definitely has the population to support us all, and we're all thriving. I don't, everybody has the opportunity to start a business. It's just a matter if you put in the effort to make it a success. And, most businesses, people stay pretty loyal to. So I'm sure that the sister's coffee shop, that all her customers would stay loyal. And that's it.
Thank you, Lori. Okay, sisters, you have a rebuttal here if you wish to use that.
Hello again. So I just kind of wanted to address a few things. Again, it's not about not having competition. We appreciate competition. We welcome competition. It's not about that. It's about adding Starbucks right now. It's about adding Marcel's right now. It's about adding Mudslingers right now. Those are 3 coffee shops coming in, 2 of them on either side of us. And you're right. When does it end? When do we say enough is enough? When do we say we are not going to just keep allowing the same thing that's familiar to us? Yes, we have a lot of customers, a lot of residents that drink coffee. Let the coffee shops who are here take care of that. That's not what I mean. I don't mean let them take care of that. Everybody deserves an opportunity to open their own business. It's not, like I said, it's not about them opening. I would hope that they could find somewhere in Clearlake that would be successful for them. But like I said in my first statement, Marcel's was approved. He was already approved. He's in an existing building. He has to put in sidewalks and then he can open. That could happen tomorrow. Mudslingers doesn't have a building built. They have a dirt lot still. They have the ability to find another place. And that's all we're asking. Somewhere that's not right next door to a coffee shop and another coffee shop already opening. I don't have anything against Mudslingers as a company. It seems like a really great deal. If we were in trouble, maybe we would solicit them for that. As far as getting other businesses in town, is there not a retail research company that's like on retainer somehow that can help figure out what businesses would be good in this town? Is there not something that we can go? I urge you to ask the people, put it out somehow on your Facebook page, email people, put it on a Nixle. What do you want to see? Let people answer, because I promise you, the entire community is not going to say they want coffee. A very small portion of people is going to say they want coffee. People used to say they wanted a Starbucks. Guess what? We have that. And again, it's nothing against Mudslingers. It's everything to do with their location. It's boxing us in on either side. Again, if Marcel's was the one after if Mudslingers was approved first, we'd be in here talking about Marcel's, because it's too much at one time.
Thank you.
That's my point. Thank you, guys.
Okay, Mudslingers, you have one last chance. You want to come up? Nope. Okay. All right, we're going to close the public hearing. Do we have any deliberations here at the council?
Comments, maybe.
Councilwoman Overton.
Okay, so I understand competition sometimes is not always the most wonderful thing in the world. But we have lots of different businesses. You even mentioned 9 Mexican restaurants in our town, all successful. None of them are closing down. We have pharmacies, we have grocery stores. You have 3 grocery stores right there in your shopping center. I mean, they all sell groceries. So, all competition. So, I mean, burger places, all conglomerate around each other. I don't think that one, that this is really that close to you. One is, and the second thing is we talked about an intersection. Are we talking about the entrance to the shopping center? Because there's not really an intersection there. Am I right? There's not a true intersection there. They're talking about traffic and stuff.
Well, I mean, so if you want me to try to address
go ahead.
that, I mean, there, as part of the future park project, I mean, there will be a new road on the eastern part of that parcel. So there would be, encroachment there and an intersection coming out on Olympic Drive. I mean, the comments about the drive-through being too close to meet the zoning ordinance requirements and stuff. I mean, that isn't true. I mean, the intent of the zoning ordinance is to create queuing and whatnot. And if you guys have seen the design, you may not remember all the details of it, but you have to turn into the north and then go north maybe a few hundred feet and then turn and come back down to get to the coffee shop. So it's not like there's going to be traffic queuing up out on the street. Everyone can pull right in on that road and then make
They
their
have to
way
come
either
back.
into the future park or come back. So it would just be exiting out. And of course, our city engineers, essentially designed this. So it does meet all of the city standards.
And are there not also entrances off of Burns Valley Road to the north? And I never could figure out what the name of the street is to the east, whether it's Burns Valley or Rumsey, but those are
Burns
both
Valley.
entrances.
Yeah, eventually there will be. I mean, the intent was to do this section first while we finish the park design and whatnot. But yeah, there would be 2 additional entrances and exits into the property.
I'm not there. So, I mean, I understand that, nobody wants competition. Of course, we don't. When we talked about the grocery stores and airport going out there and bringing in the big box stores, believe me, I talked to all of the people that would have affected. And they all said, of course, we don't want competition. But, if competition comes in, then we'll have to do something different. It's like, make something special. Make it to where your clients don't want to go your customers don't want to go anywhere else. I mean, it's like, we can't, I mean, in my mind is like you said, everybody has a right for a business, and now is you have time to concentrate on your customers and making something special for them that mudslingers and Marcellers not going to have, be innovative and try to kind of think of what you can do. But I don't see your argument for me doesn't seem to fit the projects the way you're talking. Like, it's not that close to you. You have the walk-in traffic where they don't. So you have things that they're not going to have. They may have the drive up, but you have the whole shopping center. So, I don't think that that's a fair concept of looking at the same. We're not looking at the same type of business in a way of location, because you have the walk up, they have the drive up. It's really the only difference. But think of something special. You have some time to think of something special for your clients, for the people that come in there. Do something, get your mind going. I know you can do it. You seem like a very smart woman.
All right, Councilman Claffey, you have any comments?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think there's a misconception that the choice is between a coffee shop or an Italian restaurant. It's not. It's a choice between investment in our community or a vacant lot, essentially. I see why you're here. I recognize the passion. And I think your best attribute right now here is all the people in this room right now. I don't think you brought data to the table that prove that you will absolutely close down. You said eventually one or more of our coffee shops will have to close. But at the same time, you listed several different industries, thrift stores, Mexican restaurants, et cetera, that haven't experienced that. So without really data to support that argument, it's really hard for me to stop an investment in our community like this. But I'm very proud of your argument, and we hope that you continue to thrive here. And if you need support, I would love to help you out as best I can.
Councilman Kramer, have any comments, additional comments?
Yes, I've got to agree with Councilwoman Overton. that shopping center would seem to me to be a huge advantage to Sisters in that you have all the walking traffic from 3 grocery stores. I forgot about the third one. Along with a lot of other businesses that would and could be drawn to your coffee shop that the Mudslingers location will not have. I can't see where, again, also the nine Mexican restaurants that are all thriving prove that multiple of the same type things can be successful and are successful in our city. And I have to agree with Councilman Claffey in that, you know, we want more businesses coming into our community, and this one is one that I think is going to enhance our citywide. And I honestly don't feel, I can't agree that it will hurt your business. I think it may help both of your businesses. No, that's pretty much what I have to say.
Vice Mayor Purdock, do you have any comments on this?
I have a lot.
Okay.
I don't think we have time, but we've done a lot of consideration in this matter, and through that, looked at the different competition that could be beneficial. I remember speaking with restaurant owner here on Lakeshore Drive, asking what we could do to drive more business down into Lakeshore Drive and help his business. And he said the best thing for my business would be other restaurants, and we could work together to bring that element into Clearlake. And I thought that was very compelling argument. But on the flip side, I'm familiar with a particular location where there were 2 Starbucks coffee shops, and a Dutch Brothers went in between, and they both suffered, and one of the Starbucks actually closed. So I understand your argument, and that's why kind of which way do we split the baby here? We want to help everybody. We want to see business come in and thrive. I appreciate Councilmember Claffey's, you know, can we see some data that would help support that? I also respect Councilmember Overton and Councilmember Kramer's comments about you do have a different element being there on the walking path. So we want to see business come in. We want to see people thrive. We'd love to see the idea of having businesses to support our new sporting complex, that we're excited to get that going. So I'll tell you, this is very difficult because I know people on either side of this argument, and I want to see everyone be successful. But thank you for bringing this to us, because that's what you do in a civil society, and I respect you all for that.
All right, I have just really one comment, and maybe Mr. Flores had the answer. What's the status of Pasquale? Because it looks like the weeds are getting taller.
Well, so they applied for a use permit, which was approved by the Planning Commission, subject to various conditions, which are standard for this type of development. Some of which the property owner has been unwilling to implement, and so it's really an issue between Marcel's, the business, and the property owner to complete them somehow, unfortunately.
Okay. Okay, thank you. The public hearing is closed, David. I've asked a question from staff. Yes. Yep. Okay, David, the public hearing was closed. You go ahead, but okay. Yes. It goes up and then it comes down. You get out.
That's not exactly what he said.
I have no idea what Mr. Hughes is looking at. I don't know if you want to go down this rabbit hole or not, but I'm happy to do so if you would like, Mr. Mayor.
Please, let's get this cleared up.
So
And-
no.
Okay.
Fire department's down here.
Okay.
This is exit only.
Thank you. All right. The only comment I really have is that I've been involved in numerous shopping center developments, and there is some kind of synergy that you create when you have different things, but also similar. I mean, it's very clear that if you look at the Walmart Center, we have 3 fast foods there right next to each other. So that's a thing, and all of them are surviving. So that's really my only comment. That sometimes helps to have 3 of the same things there that drives people to that location, and then they decide where to go. All right. We need to take some action on this item. Anybody wants to move something here?
So just
Mayor?
make sure you're clear. So there's 2 resolutions, both with the same resolution number, one for denying the appeal and one for
We just got to get the right one in there, right?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Councilman Kramer, please.
I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number CC 2021-46. Read by title only, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Clearlake denying the appeal of application AP 2021-03, upholding the director's approval of administrative use permit 2021-07 and categorical exemption CE 2021-06, authorizing the installation of a drive-through / walk-up coffee shop with limited outdoor seating located at 14760 Olympic Drive, further described as assessor's parcel number 039-570-18 when located in the mixed-use zoning district.
Very good. We have a motion by Councilman Kramer.
I'd like Mr. Kramer to clarify his motion. He started out with he wants to approve to deny.
I want to approve the resolution that I read, which denies
Okay.
the
I
appeal.
wanted to make sure that I understood it correctly,
I
sir.
read the resolution just exactly as it's printed on here.
All right, thank
by
you.
Mayor Purdock.
All right, we have a second on this.
I'll second.
We have a second by Councilman Kramer. A roll call vote, please.
I think that
Mr. Mayor, would you like to utilize the Muni code system?
No,
Okay.
not yet.
All right. All right. Councilmember Overton. Councilmember Kramer.
aye.
Councilmember Claffey.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Purdock
Aye.
and Mayor Slutin.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation, everybody.
But you will be successful, both of you.
All right, we'll go to item number. It's navigating distance. Item number 12. City Manager Flora.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So just wanted to provide a few updates on the cash fire. We don't, I don't think need any action from the council tonight, but of course, it's an opportunity to give direction to us if you see fit. So as you're aware, we did receive a state declaration for the fire, which extremely thankful for. We still haven't received any word on whether it's going to be included in a federal declaration or not. But it's the state declaration is definitely freeing up resources at the state level to help the recovery effort. So there's been kind of a flurry of information over the last couple of days related to cleanup effort and trying to figure out when that may happen. At this point, the cleanup effort has been included in an RFP for this fire and a number of other fires across the state. That was released last week, and they're expecting proposals to come in I think mid-October. And at this point, we're looking at probably early November. They have prioritized response on this to one of the first cleanup efforts in the state. And so sometime in early November, that's what we know. Now, the Department of Water Resources, State Water Board worked with the Conservation Corps to come and install some emergency BMPs for stormwater in order to protect the creek from rain. Now, our staff have been out there. I've been out there a few times. We definitely think that they're not adequate for any type of significant rain event. We shared that with Cal OES, and the water board agrees with us. And so because we kind of held off for a little while in trying to determine how soon the cleanup would happen, because if the cleanup could come in within the next 30 days, say, it probably wouldn't be necessary to strengthen those BMPs as much because the pollutants and the debris would be cleaned up. But that's not going to happen. And so they are going to come back in and install some additional BMPs to kind of strengthen what's there, and hopefully protect the creek from the first, if we get a rain event or two. It's not going to be into the heart of the winter for sure, when the stuff should be cleaned up, but we're likely to see some significant rain that could cause problems. So they're supposed to be coming out on Wednesday and having a site meeting on kind of figuring this out. We don't know the time yet, but we'll be working with them and trying to identify that. Our city engineers provided recommendations to Cal OES on what we think would be ideal and so forth. So it's been a little bit slow, but we're making some progress there, and we believe that fortunately the state is committed to protecting the watershed. So I think that's pretty much all on that. Currently, with the money that was allocated recently for temporary housing, we're currently housing 10 people. The need's been a little bit less than what we'd expected. I think, NCOs worked with a lot of these folks, and they've been able to find, other alternatives. I think probably in the coming week or two, there may be a few more that will need accommodations because of other arrangements, ending and so forth. But our target of probably 20 to 25 is a little higher than what we're seeing, which is great. We haven't gotten formal approval, but it sounds like in maybe as soon as next week, we should be getting at least another 100,000 that Cal OES has been working with some nonprofits for the sort of temporary housing piece. So things are looking pretty good there. We don't really have anything to share at this point, but our finance director has been working a lot with HCD and some other funders and some programs, and we're looking at maybe some other more permanent housing options that we might be able to spin up in the short term on some city-owned property perhaps. And so we're kind of looking at what we can put together there, but there seems to be some opportunities that would be kind of cool and innovative that we think we could do maybe in short order with properties that we already own around the city. So we'll keep you posted on that, but just kind of started fleshing that out a little bit more this week. So I guess the final thing to mention was, there's some water system issues down there. I think most of the council's aware it's kind of a patchwork with the water systems in that area. So Canocti Water has been able to provide water to Cache Creek Mobile Home Park on a temporary basis. We've asked Senator McGuire and Assemblymember Curry and Cal OES to expedite their application for funding for a water system upgrade down through that area, which they had already been working on. Hopefully that funding, they're able to push that up in the priority list. It sounds like they're trying to do that. Because that would be a project they'd already planned and was pretty much done with the design. If they could get that money faster, get it done. And then Creekside, which actually gets its water across the creek from Lower Lake Water District, and there's some ongoing issues there. We think long-term, no matter what happens on that property, it's probably ideal for it to also tie into Canocti Water District. So there's a number of things in the works, planning for that. And we're just going to be working on getting the right of entry forms put together next week so that we're ready for the debris cleanup team as soon as they're ready to come on site. So with that, I've just tried to address any questions the council has about response.
I have one, just go ahead, Councilman Kramer.
Just, you mentioned $100,000 that will be coming in soon. Is that going to be processed through NCO or as well?
Yes, it'll go directly to NCO.
Okay, so there is a contact number for NCO. I've had a number of contacts through our LARCA grant, and a lot of them are still looking for housing. Can I, if they haven't talked to NCO yet, can I refer them? And
that is the best referral. NCO, we're trying to have them handle all of that.
Okay.
They have a lot of partnerships in place and they know the programs best. So send anyone who's looking for housing to NCO.
Okay, thank you.
Either Robin in our office right down the street here or Patty are both working directly on this.
Councilman Claffey.
I saw this on social media, but is landline telephone still not connected in that area?
There are a few areas at least that have some issues. I know that's a complaint that we heard, and we've tried to make contact. I know also some folks complained to Supervisor Savatier. He's tried to make contact. I'm not aware that the problem has been resolved yet, so we need to continue following up on that.
And I have just a couple of comments. One is the Cache Creek and the Creekside. The Creekside is serviced by Canocti, correct? Or is it the other way around?
It's the other way around with a temporary connection. So they had their own system drawing water from the creek, which was burnt. And so they did an emergency connection to Canocti. And then Creekside, which is the one further to the west, the one which lost most of the homes, is in Lower Lakes Water District.
I think there's some kind of conversations going on that they get annexed to Canocti District. It makes a lot more sense to connect it to Canocti. And there's one single family residence, I think, in between the two mobile home parks that's also served by Lower Lake. I mean, that doesn't get any water either at this point, as far as my recollection.
I'm not sure on that, although
According
I
to
mean,
the
we
map,
can follow up. I didn't realize that there was another connection to Lower Lake there, but that there was someone with water problems, and I believe they were trying to coordinate with Canocti Water District about, I think, the temporary connection is definitely not a long-term solution. They're using a tie-in to someone else's water meter and all that, but they thought that maybe they could add one more on, and make do for a little while, but it's definitely not a good long-term solution.
I think the long-term solution is they have to connect to Canocti, that they have the facilities in it. All right, any comments here from the council? If not, I open a public hearing. Any comments from public on this item, Madam Clerk?
There are no hands raised on the Zoom, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, I think that concludes this item. Do you need any more direction from staff? Okay, we'll go to item number 13. Award of contract for the Sulfur Fire Disaster Roadway Improvement Project. Yippee.
I'm going to just do a brief intro on this. If you have questions, Mr. Schwartz is here to address those. But so the day that we didn't know if it was ever going to happen is here.
Yeah,
so you're aware of this project, Lakeshore Drive, San Joaquin, and a bunch of other streets, totaling approximately 8 miles. So we were able to acquire CDBG disaster recovery dollars. There's a total allocation of 13.7 million, the bulk of which we intended to go towards this project. Fortunately, the bids came in significantly lower than we expected, with the low bid at this point being just under 6.5 million. I guess depending on what questions you have, there's been a lot of back and forth as we've communicated with HCD on this. It's been a very long and frustrating process. At this point, everything is like at the cusp of being finalized. HCD is okay with the council authorizing me to sign the contract and giving them a notice to proceed. I can't do it until it sounds like Monday. There's some final paperwork on their end that our goal is to have it done today so that it was just all done and ready to go. They're telling us they'll have their approvals to us on Monday, and then we can immediately move forward from there. So that's kind of the status on both of these items. We can't move forward with that step, or we would risk not being able to use the CDBG funds on this project, which obviously we want to do. So that's kind of the lay of the land. And of course, if you have any specific or technical questions about the project or the bidding process or anything like that, I'm sure Mr. Schwartz or myself should be able to address.
Any questions from the council? I have one question. How soon are we going to be able to get a schedule of when construction actually starts?
Well, do you want me to try? And then we don't know for sure. We had a call with the contractor today. It sounds like we will know. They aren't available to have a pre-construction meeting next week unless something's changed, but the following week we'll be meeting with them and they'll have the schedule prepared and we'll go over that. But we expressed with them the urgency and the intent of the city is to, not come up with excuses to push this off till next year, but to get as much of this project done pending the weather as possible. So I don't know if there's anything Dave wants to add, but we don't really know for sure at this point, but we'll know more in another 10 days probably.
Prepare a schedule as it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any comments from the council here? If not, I'll open it to the public. Any comments from the public on this item, Madam Clerk?
There are no hands raised in the Zoom, Mr. Mayor.
All right, can we have bring it back to the
Yes,
council?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make the motion to approve the contract with our ring construction in the amount of $6,494,914 and approve for our administrator to sign.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilwoman Overton and a second by Vice Mayor Purdock. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. We'll go to item number 14. City Manager Flora, please.
Yeah, so we did an RFP for inspection services for the same project. We had one respondent, Green Valley, and for 200 and some thousand, as you see there. So this is the same situation with the notice to proceed and so forth. This was on the agenda last week, but we weren't in the position to be able to have the council authorize it. So one thing that I'd like to request some amendment to the item that you see here in kind of working through some of the contract stuff with HCD. There's some services that we had initially intended to contract out to our city engineer, but because of the way we did the contract with him previously, HCD won't authorize expenditures. They won't pay us back for any time spent by the city engineer. So we went back to this contractor and asked them if they could perform some of these other additional services. And so like coordination of on-site meetings, requests for information, handling final punch list items and some of that. There's going to be a few things that obviously our city engineer is going to need to be involved with. But they can perform these services for an additional up to $59,600. And so in reviewing it, we believe that that's a solid price for this work. And we would ask that the council authorize adding that amount to the 200 and yes. So anyway, try to address any questions on that, but that way all of that project work could be reimbursed through the CDBG funds.
Say the last word again. What did you say?
Well, just that by doing this, all of that work would be able to be reimbursed by CDBG funds, and we wouldn't have to come up with city funds to cover the cost of making that happen.
Okay. Do you have any questions for staff?
And maybe just one more point, sorry, but we only got one respondent to the RFP. There could be some argument to just sending it out to bid again and adding the extra stuff in, but because we only had one respondent, it's a relatively small increase. We think it's justified to just move forward with Green Dog.
Could you give me that number again? The increase?
$59,600.
It's still only 4.5%. All right. Any more questions from staff, from the council? If not, we'll open it up for public hearing. Do we have any comments from the public on this item?
There are no hands raised on the Zoom, Mr. Mayor.
All right, can I have a motion, please?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move that we have council approve the contract with Green Valley Consulting Engineers for $227,360 and the additional $59,600 for a total of $286,960.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman.
Mr. Mayor, real quick, I just want to clarify that the motion also includes our standard approve up to 10% for unforeseen contract amendments.
I'll amend that motion to include the standard 10% overage.
My second stands.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Kramer and a second by Vice Mayor Purdock. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll go to item number 15, consideration of extending temporary agreements with North Bay Animal Services for animal control and kennel technician services. Chief White.
Does Mark Scott show on the Zoom? Okay, if you can make him a panelist and then he'll talk after I do. Good evening, Mayor, members of the council, and members of the public. We are here before you tonight to ask you to approve extending the continuation of a temporary month-to-month agreement with North Bay Animal Services for our animal control officer and kennel technician services. Beginning in July, we entered, or let me back up. In June of 2021, both of our animal control officers resigned to take on new jobs with other entities. Around that time, we were approached by North Bay Animal Services about providing contract animal control officer services. In July, we entered into that temporary contract with them to provide one animal control officer Tuesday through Saturday, which some of you may met at the July 3rd event. Shortly thereafter, we were faced with some staffing challenges due to COVID, And we ended up entering into an emergency contract for an extra kennel technician. For initially, it was a few days a week, and then it became 7 days a week coverage to supplement our existing staff that's down there. We currently have one full-time kennel technician, Charmaine, who was here earlier tonight, and we have another part-time kennel technician. Our prior recruitments have not been successful for animal control officer or for full-time kennel technicians. Based upon the aggregate amount of the expenditures, we're going to exceed the $25,000 within the fiscal year. So that's why we're here before you tonight to request your approval. We've had good experience with North Bay Animal Services. I did the background reference checks for them and spoke to another city, city of Cloverdale, who had very good reviews of them. And within the animal control world, we've had good reviews from them as well. They helped us out during the fire with sending their staff up. They've helped with taking animals at our facility and taking them to theirs in Petaluma. They also, consistent with helping us, we're able to send our contract animal control officer through them up to the, I believe is the Caldera fire, and to assist there as well. So they're definitely good partners in dealing with that. At this time, we are exploring longer term options, both for animal control officer services, but also to the operation of the kennels. But this would give us kind of a buffer to continue seeing how things work out. This vendor is interested in submitting a proposal. They currently contract with the cities of Petaluma, Cloverdale, Calistoga, and Healdsburg. And on the Zoom, we have Mark Scott, who's the executive director, who's been our primary contact. And I think he wants to say just a couple words.
Thank you, and thank you, council members. We're very pleased that we're to be working with you, that you selected us to help out during this emergency situation that you were faced with. I'm hoping that we're living up to our name. Our Officer Crum has been doing a great job as far as meeting the calls for service that have come through so far. We were able to, I think, in disaster calls during the cash fire. And then again, we were able to respond to the Caldor fire. So I thank the chief for allowing us the ability to go ahead and assist those people as well. We appreciate helping Charmaine, who's been doing a great job, and Lieutenant Hobbs trying to mitigate the challenges that they're faced with. They got a great challenge in front of them, and they've been doing a good job. But we want to see if we can come in and assist where is needed and bring our resources and our talents to the table and see if there's anything that we can help overcome those challenges. And we look forward to putting together a proposal for a more long-term solution. We've pulled many animals over the years through Charmaine. They pulled years far. We already pulled this out. So,
It looks like we lost Mr. Scott with the low bandwidth.
uh-oh.
Oh, I think you're back.
I don't know where I left off. I was done. I don't know if it just glitched or paused, but I was done at that point.
Okay. Yeah, and just to add on, one of the unique benefits with North Bay Animal Services coming in is that when we contacted him at the end of June, we basically had like just a week or so to really kind of spin things up. And he was able to bring in staff that were already trained. We didn't spend any time training them. It would have taken a sworn officer off the streets to be able to try to train them. These folks are experts in their field in terms of animal services. So I think that the city got a really good deal in terms of what they were charging versus what they provided. They also, as part of our existing contract, provide all the oversight. So any complaints, all the dispatching services. So we're not tying up dispatch with taking in the information. They're able to transfer them to North Bay to handle those things. And I think another benefit too is just the economy of scale with it is when we were faced with no kennel technician to take care of the animals, we were able to call them, and literally the next day he had staff on site and was able to sustainably fill those positions. And, prior to that, Lieutenant Hobbs, who comes here, is coming on the weekends and taking care of the animals and everything else. And while I appreciate that. That's certainly not within the realm of his primary job, and it pulls a lot of his time, my time as well. So I think that this is a good opportunity for us to kind of take a step back, let them get this work done, and let us focus on what's most important for long-term stability. In terms of the budget, we're currently using salary savings from previously budgeted positions. We're budgeted for 2 animal control officers, so that's helping cover this animal control officer position, as well as the 7-day-a-week kennel technician. The 7-day-a-week kennel technician is helping us to free up some of Charmaine's time to continue those high live release rates with getting the animals out, as opposed to her being in there tending to the animals. And you heard the numbers, they've been really overwhelmed out there with animals. And that would take away from being able to get them out without her having time to do that. So with that, our request for you is to authorize me to continue the 2 contracts with North Bay Animal Services, and to waive the competitive bidding process, their specialized services, and it's to maintain the continuity of service to the public and the animals as we explore the long-term options. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from Councilwoman Overton?
What's budgeted here for the 137,832? Is that just till the end of the year?
Correct.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it was. It seemed awful cheap for too long.
Any other questions?
Right.
Councilman Kramer?
Chief, did I understand him and you to say that they're providing services to 3 or 4 other cities around on a permanent basis?
Yes, that's correct. They currently provide services to City of Petaluma, Cloverdale, Calistoga, and Healdsburg. And I believe, Mark, is it the town of Windsor also? I think I may have missed one in the list here.
That's correct. Yeah. 5 cities right now that we have already contracts with.
Okay, well, we'll look forward to your further research.
Yeah, and the other cities, I don't speak for Petaluma, but I know Cloverdale, Calistoga, and Healdsburg, and reading their staff reports and stuff, they're in very similar situations that we were, that they're individually, it's a huge draw on a small cities, but in the aggregate, they were able to save some money and get a better level of service.
Right, any more questions from staff? If not, we open it for the public. We have any comments from the public on this item, Madam Clerk?
There are no hands raised within the Zoom, Mr. Mayor.
All right, we'll bring it back to the council. Can I have a motion?
Mayor Slotin, I'm on a roll now. I'd like to move to authorize the police chief to continue month-to-month contract agreements with NBAS for animal control officer and kennel technician services for the remainder of the fiscal year and waive competitive bidding pursuant to section 3-4.5 of the Clearlake Municipal Code due to the specialized nature of the services and to maintain continuity of service to the public and animals as we explore longer-term options.
We have a motion by Councilman Kramer. We have a second by Councilwoman Overton. If no more discussion, everybody in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. So
Thank
item number 16, discussion and possible action regarding the city's response to the 2021 grand jury report. Mr. Flora.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So hopefully you had a chance to review that the 2021 grand jury report had a number of reports. There was one very lengthy one on homelessness where they required a review from the city. So you can, staff worked on preparing a draft response, and if you have any questions about that, I'll be happy to work through that, but we need to get approval, have the mayor sign the response and send it to the grand jury and the presiding judge.
Any comments from staff on this item? If not, I'll open up the public hearing. We have any comments from the public on this one, Madam Clerk?
No, Mr. Mayor, there are no hands raised within the Zoom.
I will take it back to the council and can I have a motion to approve the letter, for me to sign the letter?
Mayor, I'd like to make the motion to, sorry, I'd like to make the motion to approve the response to the grand jury and authorize our mayor, Slutin, to sign.
Okay, we have a second on that.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilwoman Overton and a second by Councilman Kramer. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Don't have any problem trying to get back to the agenda. Oh. Well, that didn't work. Okay. Discussion, possible action in regards to California redistricting process. Laura.
Yeah, so at the last meeting, we talked about the council's interest in submitting something to the California Redistricting Commission. The council gave direction to prepare something so that you could do so. So we have a draft resolution has been prepared, and that kind of addresses some of the issues that were brought up by the council last time. And so happy to make any changes you like, hoping that we can move forward with that. And then one other issue that we discussed last time as well, I think the primary issue that is raised in this response that wasn't part of the Board of Supervisors' previous response is related to like Lake County as a whole staying in the same district. And so would just recommend that maybe the council consider requesting the Board of Supervisors supplement their previous response with some of the arguments that we've raised here about Lake County remain as one district. And I have talked to Supervisor Sabati about it. He's reviewed the resolution and I think supports making sure that it's considered by the board if you would like to make that request.
Okay, we have any questions for Councilwoman Overton?
So can you clarify that a little bit more? You want us to ask the Board of Supervisors to take on our,
Well, I mean, yeah, my thought was that you request the Board of Supervisors consider an additional response to the redistricting commission. I mean, the response that they submitted talks about we need to be part of a district with Napa and Sonoma. It doesn't mention anywhere that it's really important that Lake County should be in one district. And so whether they want to use some of the arguments that are in our response or come up with different ones, at least request that they consider making that argument to the commission, because it is one of the criteria that they're supposed to consider, the commission, which is outlined in here, that to the extent possible, cities and counties should not be divided by district. So I think it's an important point.
I guess in my mind is as they're representing the county, which is representing the cities. So you don't feel that happened in their letter?
Well, I mean, you decide for yourself. To me, it doesn't say anything about Lake County should be
As
in
a
one
whole.
district. It says we want to be with Napa and Sonoma. And I think it is an important distinction that the commission may give more weight if it's coming from the county as well as us. as a
Okay.
city.
I got it. Okay.
Any more questions, staff? If not, open it up to the public. We have any public member that wants to comment on this?
There are no hands raised within the Zoom, Mr. Mayor.
Bruno is not on?
No.
He's watching via YouTube, I think. He said if you request it, it should be on the agenda for the 21st.
All right.
Bruno did request that it be on this.
No, he's waiting for you, the council to request it, but when that happens, he will make sure that it gets on.
So do you want us to act on this resolution first and then the consensus would be to ask to have you write a letter to them or request?
There you
that
go.
by
That's
consensus?
probably fine.
So
Okay.
we don't have it, just a direction to staff to proceed with this and ask the county to include, to have Lake County represented by one congressman.
I agree with that.
I agree with that.
Absolutely.
Okay, I think you have your direction.
Okay, now back to the,
All right. I think that's it. We go to,
yeah, we back to council?
bring it back to the council, and you have direction now to what to do, correct, Mr. Porter?
Yes, but we would request you adopt the resolution to send to the commission.
Okay, can I have a motion to adopt?
Yes, you may. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 2021-47, read by title only. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Clearlake urging the California Citizens Redistricting Commission to combine all of Lake County within the same United States congressional district and to keep all of Lake County within the same state Senate and Assembly districts.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Kramer. We have a second on that.
Second.
A second then by Councilman Claffey. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we go to city managers and council member reports.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, just a few things. We have a vacancy on the marketing committee. So if you know anyone you think might be interested in that. We also have a vacancy on the planning commission. Unfortunately, our chair had some conflicts with school schedules and whatnot and didn't feel like she could continue. So we need to find someone for that. There's, a lot of projects coming up over the next couple of years. So it's important that we have a really strong commission. Well, I'm going to come back to that at the last. We should be closing on the water park purchase tomorrow. The closing for the hotel property, I thought might happen tomorrow, but it may be early next week. We do have a LOI in place for housing on the 29-acre residential development off of Old Highway 53. I think that's had a meeting today with that developer and ready to move forward with purchase and sale agreement as soon as possible. So we're going to be working on preparing that and bringing it to the council. The situation at Redwood Park and the boat ramps has continually gotten worse. We're going to close the ramps tomorrow morning. We just continue to have a lot of issues. Very few people are using the ramps at this point because of the water level. We've looked at coordination with the county about options on temporarily improving things. And it just sounds like it's going to take a pretty extreme amount of work to even make it much better on a temporary basis. The situation with the lake level, as you've seen, and the water quality conditions, particularly over the last week, have been extremely bad. And one of the highest readings ever was just tested at Redwood Park this week. And so just don't think that there's really much benefit to keeping it open until the water levels come back up. So we're going to be closing that off tomorrow morning. And then there's been an issue that has come up just yesterday that we think that there's a need for a special meeting for one closed session item. And we're looking at Monday at 1 o'clock. So I'm hoping that you could all quickly check your schedules and see if that would work for you or not.
All right, was that it?
Well, so do you think that's okay?
20th?
The 20th, yeah.
I think it's fine for me.
Yeah, 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Appears to be.
That'll work.
Okay.
Okay. So we should be sending that agenda out probably tomorrow, but should be fairly short meeting, less than an hour. With that, that's my report.
Councilman Kramer, have anything exciting to talk about?
Oh, yes. I attended several meetings last week, APC, LTA. I'm going to let Vice Mayor Purdock comment on specific items on that. And I also attended as alternate the water quality, I can't get all the words, water quality council meeting in which Councilwoman Overton is the voting member and vice chair. So I'm going to let her talk on that. Had a Lake Links meeting yesterday. Board were wrestling with being too successful. We've had done a lot more Meadowlink rides, and it's costing a lot of money, and we're looking for additional grant money to cover the cost. That's on that. Larka, I spent the last couple of days in between other meetings and stuff, contacting fire survivors. I need to run down a few others that are not on the LAC list. I've put the word out to folks that I have talked to, and they've called back with several names of people that weren't on the LAC list. So still running those down. I probably have I've contacted more than 20 and have good addresses for, and will be mailing checks, grant checks out to them, $500 each. Gave out a business recovery grant check today of $3,000. So we're moving along. We're still getting some donations dribbling in. We have a total of about 40,000 that's for this project directly. It should be enough to cover the number of grants that will be needed to go out. That's all I have.
All right. Councilman Claffey, anything exciting?
So we had our marketing committee meeting. We talked a bit about the vacancy. So if you have an interest in beautifying or bringing some energy and excitement to the city, the marketing committee should be your first stop. We also got a first look at the photo contest finalists. Very impressive talent out there. We'll have the finalists selected in the near future, and we'll go through the voting process, which we'll share in due time. Also, the PEG TV meeting, had that on Monday. Part of that was to discuss supporting Lower Lake Museum and getting them some equipment to continue some of the great archival work that they're doing. So all in all, some good projects happening.
May I ask who resigned from the marketing committee?
You can, but the name escapes me at the moment. What was the name?
Maybe.
Susan Bloomquist.
Thank you.
All right. Excuse me. Okay. Councilwoman Overton.
All right, just a few things. Stormwater board meeting. We passed our budget for all the entities to pitch in their money to keep all our testing and everything going, which as we have to do. Working together to make sure that we file all our permit processes, and they give Adeline kudos, by the way. So she's really awesome. So I'm glad that we're keeping up with that. Keeping that going, because that's really important. We got way behind and now we're getting caught back up. So hopefully no fines and everything. Was a judge at the Soapbox Derby this weekend. I was unable to stay all the time, so I'm gonna let our mayor do all that. And pretty much sorry I missed the marketing committee, but I'll be catching up with you on that information. So and that's pretty much it. I've just been busy with helping the fire victims try to get into homes. So I've been moved one from a hotel and into a house and helping them get some stuff going. So That's really kind of where I've been spending most of my time right now. So.
Very good. Thank you, Councilman Overton. Vice Mayor Purdock.
Well, I'll start where Councilmember Kramer deferred. Not really much to report out on the Lake Transit and Lake APC, other than a conversation that kind of trailed. We were very concerned about the fatalities that have taken place on Highway 53, and they're helping us to hopefully work on something that will help provide a safer corridor on Highway 53. I did listen in, and that was about my only action for the LAFCO meeting yesterday, is pointing out that I was listening in. But Mayor Slutin can answer the rest of that. I did want to thank the city staff for doing an outstanding job with the Soapbox Derby. It was a great community event. Wonderful to see families there having a good time, adults acting like children and having a great time doing that. Sadly, our city manager was dethroned by Officer Elvis Cook, who swooped in with a finish.
Blown away.
Yes, it was, but it was very inspiring, and I hope that more will participate next year, as I'm sure it's just going to continue to get better and better. No injuries reported from the one little mishap into the hay bale. Thankfully, everybody, including the driver, got out okay. But anyway, it was a great opportunity to see the community come out and have some good family fun.
Yeah, I thought our chief white was going to win the soapbox.
So did I.
Derby, but
I really
he
did.
just- I don't know what the problem was. Maybe I heard some
Yeah, the
rumors that you know, the axles were greased and the wrong grease or something like that.
He
Gave
did have
some
the
lame
sleekest
excuse,
looking
but
car.
anyway, no, that was an awesome event. Again, something more to build on, and thank Tina for organizing this.
Absolutely.
That's a great thing. And I thank everybody from the city public works staff, the hay bills, everybody did an awesome job, and thank you for it. This is going to grow, I know for sure. Like I said, we attended the LAFCO meeting yesterday. The two bigger items were there were MSR on the cemetery districts in the county, and there are numerous of them, like 7 or 8. They all seem to have, with the exception maybe of Middletown, financial issues that they're unwilling or not able to straighten out. It's either a tax increase, which is highly unlikely, or a fee increase, and it's just trying to get the board of directors on those districts to actually realize that they have to take some action to make them financially feasible. Then we also dealt with the water districts again, and I'm always an advocate for fire flow information and stuff like that, and I think it's finally coming through that that is an important issue. And I think Councilman Kramer, you're on the Risk Reduction Authority. That's an item that Supervisor Simon will take up at that the water districts have insufficient fire flow in for the area that it has to that's governed by the Risk Authority, and he also seemed to
I actually had lunch with him the other day, and we actually talked about that.
and that there might be some funding available even for some water districts to get fire flow a little bit up. I listened in this morning at it had to do with cyanobacteria, and the county is getting close to declaring an emergency because a lot of the private water that is pumped out of the lake has too much cyanobacteria in it, and it just cannot be cleaned or processed sufficiently to take it out. In other words, it's unhealthy to drink. It's unhealthy to brush your teeth with. There's some vague science that it's not quite clear if you take showers with it, it's going to be okay or not. But I would think that if it's unhealthy to drink, that's probably unhealthy to take showers with. So they're trying to figure out some things. The water districts are involved. Keith Ahart from Golden State offered some thing to particularly the Windflower Point area, the Sulfur Bank Road area. Those are the areas, some areas up in Lucerne that most people get their water out of the lake, and the concentration of cyanobacteria is way too high. There are some areas in Jago Bay and those Westman Mobile Home Park and some other areas on the lower end of the lake that are severely affected by this. So the county is getting close to, or the Dr. Pace is getting close to declaring. So there is some complication with that. We can get water to them, but there's enough water to do showers and all that thing. So maybe at some point in time, Vice Mayor Purdock, we might have to implement the shower trail.
It's implementing everywhere around the lake, Mr. Mayor.
I actually received an advisory from Dr. Pace because we're on a well, but of course, doesn't affect us. But it is a health advisory at this point in time. People on private well systems or private water systems whose tap water comes from their own intake into the lake, and the Oaks Arm and lower arm of Clearlake should not drink the water. Very high levels of cyanotoxin have been identified in these areas of the lake, and we are concerned they may be health impacts if private water systems are not effectively filtered out these toxins. More detailed information will be released today, which is probably what you were in on.
Yeah, even like boiling the water and those kind of things doesn't do it. So it's a big thing. Like I said, the area that's closest to us that affected is probably across the lake right here, Jago Bay area, and all those small water districts, and Windflower Point area. So yeah, I mean, we own a house in the lake that we pull the water out of the lake and filter it, but can't do that anymore. That's my report. And what happened to our? No. All right. Any future agenda items? If not,
I have one, Mr. Mayor. I am concerned and I'm so grateful for everyone that's helping the Cache Fire victims and helping to try to clean up the damage there. But we do have other areas and properties within the city that have had homes destroyed by fire. And unfortunately, those properties are still sitting there with the burn structure on it. And I'd like to have a conversation, see how many of those we have. And if we do have any kind of funding or planning to try to clean up some of those burned properties. I can think of two right immediately off top of my head that have been sitting for years in that condition. So if with consensus from council, if staff could look at those properties, maybe we can start seeing what we can do to abate that nuisance.
okay. If that's it, no more future agenda items. Meeting is adjourned at
We take a 5-minute recess.
5-minute break. We'll go reconvene at 8 o'clock.